For the sixth discipline, we want to implement the corrective action. We need to have an implementation project for the corrective actions. And what's important here, I don't have a slide for it, but we want to prove the effectiveness. So again, once you've already done the work of establishing the correlation, of going through and looking for reasonable solutions. Once you've done that, you need to take the data again and prove the effectiveness of the solution. You need to update any documentation then, for example, any work instructions or failure modes and effect analysis. Once you've done the corrective action verification. And then finally, learn and define prevention for the future. Often sort of overlooked at the end, but this is very important. You want to think beyond the problem, think beyond the quick fix, and actively prevent reoccurrence. Now, what does this mean? Identify maybe other products, product lines, even sites and suppliers that might be affected. Actively present the 8D to experts at other lines at sites. Update FMEAs and make sure that when you implement the preventive measures, preventing any reoccurrence and escape. So on top of the root cause, make sure that there would be no reoccurrence and escapes. And this involves always the process owners. I put owners here because it could be at other products, lines, and sites, and of course the management. And finally, you're ready to congratulate and release the team. Not always done, as you'll hear from Elmar Fedro, but the idea is that you need to acknowledge your team, make sure that it's clear that they were an important part of this process because you never know when you're going to need them again. And one way of doing this, at least to release this, the 8D is to create an 8D report. Now, I created this just in Excel just to show you, but clearly you could have a much more detailed document, and you could have, when I worked on 8Ds, we had it actually in the internet. So all the 8Ds were available for everyone to see in the company internet. And so you have a title, detailed information, a date about the product, and important as always how many pieces are affected. Kind of revisions and reference numbers. You've got your team members, the problem description, and that could include also additional data to show what the problem is. The containment actions, also very important for future documentation. When you're looking back, in case there's been another escape, and you need to know what has been contained. Then you have the root cause analysis, containment action, corrective actions, and corrective action implementation. And here, this could also involve more data, more analysis, might take a little bit more time, but you're interested in the implementation date there. And then on top of that, the actions to prevent reoccurrence, also with implementation. And finally, you've got then the release and the signature, author of the report, and the final date of the closure. And once that is done, then the 8D can be closed. So one last slide just to look at this again in the big picture. We have talked about the 8 disciplines problem-solving methodology. And in terms of Six Sigma, we are considering these as closely related to poor capability, closely related to product falling out of specification. This is, overlapping here, maybe not, but when you have something that is a problem that is due to some kind of assignable cause, special cause, then you can apply the 8D then to eliminate that problem and bring stability to your process. Once you're beyond that, you can use Six Sigma to reduce the variability, this way, and bring capability, higher capability to your process. Now we're ready to actually move on one further step from there, and that is the idea of productivity. You've got a stable process with good Six Sigma efforts ongoing to improve capability. Now you want to remove any waste and complexity. And here we're going to move ourselves into the topic of lean production.